So, look, again, I did the breakdown. I just cannot see any next-gen console being below that $800 price tag. I can't see it. I do not understand how you would get it there. And if we, I guess what you're referring to is the tools, right? So, but they don't use them. This is the problem. Microsoft has a lot of tools that still to this day have not been used. They haven't used machine learning. They haven't used mesh shaders in full. I think a couple of games have, but there hasn't been many developers that have implemented all these things that are inside the box. The RDNA 2 stuff, they do use, but the bespoke things that actually Microsoft put into the box, they haven't used, and you can understand why. You're talking about a console that's in third place, which is not a bad thing. Like, talking about, I think they're up to 40 million sold now. You're talking about 40 million units moved. When you compare that to PlayStations, I think they're up to 60, 70 or whatever it is, or maybe even 100. I don't know what PlayStation. I don't really focus on the sales, like a lot of the PlayStation guys do. They love it. But when they're the biggest market share, that's what you're going to develop for. That's what you're going to be focusing on. Then you're going to be looking at PC, and then unfortunately, Xbox takes a bit of a hit, and you're not going to use those bespoke tools for a game that you're developing for all three platforms. Now, what's interesting is that we haven't seen the first party properly implement these tools. So it's interesting to see, these games coming out soon. The Coalition, I would argue, is probably maybe next to Playground Games, Xbox's best studio. So what they can do with UE5 and then implementing the tools in the box should be interesting. Also, Fable should be interesting to see what they can do as well.
Yeah, it would be nice to see their first parties kind of lean into it. That's something that Nintendo does really well. Is, I don't know if that's built into the bonus structure or if it's just in the culture inherently, but it feels like when they develop something, they're willing to kind of lean in on it. And the Xbox studios, it's almost like, like, this is the company I work for now. Like, just tell me what shirt to wear to the convention. I might be here with a different shirt company next year. Like, that loyalty doesn't feel, you don't feel it in their first parties. Like Forza Horizon is an Xbox game, but it doesn't have to be. Like, it would still be just as enjoyable on a PlayStation. It would be weird because I'm used to playing it in the Xbox, but there's nothing about that game that is intrinsically Xbox. And it would be neat to see it use some of the technology to kind of create a unique experience. I agree with you. I don't think they're ready. I don't think they're, and I get concerned that they're going to pull the foot off the gas on whatever the next Xbox is, because they don't have a standard naming convention. But whatever the next Xbox is, I get concerned that they're going to pull back on that. And they're going to go so hard in on cloud, and it's going to be this like Netflix Jake Paul fight type moment where, like, even if they're like, heaven forbid they're actually successful, because it's not even ready for scale. It's already hard to use, but heaven forbid we actually all agree to use it, and then it can't scale up. Like, they know how to do this. I can go to any store. I can come home with a comically large size cardboard box with way too much packaging in it. I can plug it into my TV and it functions. I don't know that Xbox Anywhere is going to deliver that same experience. And $800 is a high price tag. Many of us are getting phones are high price tags. Everything's a high price tag. So the price tag on its own, while it is concerning, everything is expensive, and Apple is expensive. Everything's expensive. So I don't know that price tag is a reason not to do something.
No, well, I don't think that's the thing. There's plenty of avenues for Xbox to go and push a bit harder. They had it everywhere. I can't remember the name of the program that they ran where you could pay your Xbox off. So you go to a phone provider, get your Xbox, and pay it off like you had a phone. It actually worked out being cheaper because you've got Game Pass. You didn't know that, but that was available in America as well. That was available in Australia. I didn't use it, but I thought that was fantastic. But they didn't push that initiative, and I think that could be an avenue for them to sell these more expensive boxes. The reason that I don't think that the reason that I think it's going to be $800 is they've traditionally been loss leaders, right? So they would sell that console at a loss and then make their money on the software. And at some stage through the cycle, the hardware would get cheaper. And then they would start making profit on the box as well. And that would happen later in the generation. We just have not seen that. Chip costs have gone up 6.1% since 2020.